At CES 2026, the small Finnish startup nobody had ever heard of, called Donut Lab, gets up on stage and makes an announcement that just completely blows up the tech world. They claimed they'd created a battery so revolutionary it would basically make every other battery on Earth obsolete overnight. But was this the massive breakthrough we've all been desperate for? Or was it just another case of tech hype? Let's dig into the claims, the controversy, and what's really going on. Okay, the first thing you need to see is this number, 100,000. That's how many charge cycles Donut Lab says their battery can handle. Now, to put that into perspective for you, if you charged your car with this battery every single day, it would last for 273 years. Yeah, this isn't just a little improvement. It's a number that seems to fly in the face of everything we know about battery chemistry. All right, so let's go back to that moment. We're at the world's biggest tech show, CES. This tiny, unknown company walks out and promises not just one miracle, but a whole shopping list of them. I mean, just look at this list. It's not just one breakthrough. It's like they solved every battery problem at once. 400 watt-hours per kilogram? That's almost double what a cutting-edge Tesla cell can do. A full charge in 5 minutes? The entire industry has been chasing that for a decade, and you're telling me you can do all this without lithium or cobalt, and you're ready to start mass-producing it right now? It's a list that seems way, way too good to be true. And you gotta understand, the stakes here are absolutely massive. This isn't just about making electric cars better. A battery like this would completely upend the entire global energy grid, from your phone all the way up to huge power plants. It would literally change the world. But almost as soon as the hype started, so did the questions. The promises were just out of this world. But when people started looking into the company and what they actually showed at CES, some pretty serious red flags started popping up for anyone who was paying attention. So the founder, Marco Litmaki, has let's call it a colorful background. He went from being a Christian rapper to a successful app developer. He's clearly a serial entrepreneur, but his history also shows he's been involved in dozens of companies that didn't really do much. And here's the real kicker. Just 8 months before claiming to have solved batteries, he claimed his other company had developed the world's first true super AI, an invention that, we've heard almost nothing about since. This pattern of making these unbelievable claims started to make people really, really nervous. And the suspicions weren't just about his history. The people who were actually there on the ground at CES reported some really troubling stuff. There was no live demo. You couldn't see the battery charging. The cells they had on display, they were just empty plastic shells, not working batteries. And anytime someone asked what was actually in the battery, they just said it was proprietary and refused to give any details. Oh, and the best part? This company that had apparently beaten every multi-billion-dollar tech giant on the planet reportedly had just 9 employees. And this is where the story shifts from just business suspicion to a full-on collision with the fundamental laws of physics. Because, you see, the biggest red flag of all wasn't the founder or the empty demo boxes, it was the science itself. So in battery design, there's this core trade-off that everyone has to deal with. You can design a battery for high energy density. That means you pack a ton of energy in there for long range. But to do that, you need thick electrodes. Or you can design it for high power, for super fast charging. For that, you need really thin electrodes so the ions can move quickly. These two goals are basically pulling in opposite directions. Which brings us to the absolute core scientific question here. Can one single battery really be the world's best at both of these things at the exact same time? Donut Lab is saying, yes, we did it. But physics suggests that's a massive contradiction. Yeah, this isn't just a tough engineering problem. It's a basic principle of how material science works. It's kind of like trying to build a water tank that's both a giant, slow-draining reservoir and a high-pressure fire hose. The designs needed for each are just fundamentally at odds with each other. And Donut Lab's claims seem to just completely ignore this reality. This apparent contradiction made a lot of experts think that Donut Lab wasn't really talking about a battery at all. Let's look at the difference here. A battery, stores a lot of energy but wears out after a few thousand cycles. A supercapacitor, on the other hand, can last for a huge number of cycles, like over 100,000, and charges super fast. Its weakness? It can't store much energy. Now, notice how Donut Lab's claims seem to just cherry-pick the absolute best specs from both sides. The massive energy of a battery plus the insane cycle life and charge speed of a supercapacitor. I mean, when you put their claims right next to one of the most advanced batteries out there today, the Tesla 4680, the difference is just staggering. Donut Lab isn't claiming a small incremental improvement. They're claiming a performance leap of 50 to 100 times better in some areas. This isn't just evolution, it's a complete rewriting of the rulebook. So, with the physics looking so shaky, it didn't take long for the people who actually, build batteries for a living to start speaking up. And they did not hold back. This is a direct quote from the chairman of Svolt, a huge player in the battery industry. It is incredibly rare for a C-suite executive to just come out and publicly call another company's tech a scam. He said the numbers are just flat out contradictory. And if that wasn't enough, an executive from CAT-L, the undisputed number one, the largest battery manufacturer in the entire world, was even more direct. He just went on LinkedIn and called the invention clearly false. When the biggest companies in the business say it's impossible, well, that carries some serious weight. A Finnish physics professor put it another way, which I think is perfect. He said, look, if these specs are real and you can actually make it, why would anyone use any other battery? You could just award the Nobel Prize in Chemistry directly to the inventor right now. That's how extraordinary the claims are. So, what do we make of all this? This whole story is just a classic, almost perfect case study in the massive difference between exciting promises and actual verifiable proof. The Donut Lab saga really fits this familiar pattern that we see over and over again in these tech hype cycles. You get these incredible claims that solve every single problem, then you get this deep secrecy that prevents anyone from actually checking the work, and then a total lack of any independent third-party data to back any of it up. So what could this thing actually be if it's not a miracle? Well, experts have kind of settled on a few plausible scenarios. One, it's some kind of supercapacitor. That would explain the insane cycle life and fast charging, but its energy density would be nowhere near what they're claiming. Two, the amazing specs are just a mashup from a bunch of different test cells. So they have one that charges fast and a different one that has high density, but no single battery that does both. Or three, this simplest explanation, it's just a marketing launch to raise money for a product that doesn't actually exist yet. In the end, it all just comes down to this. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. In the scientific world, that means peer-reviewed papers, it means third-party validation, and it means repeatable demonstrations that other people can verify. Donut Lab has provided exactly none of that. All we've seen is marketing, not measurements. And this whole thing leaves us with one final, and I think really critical question. We all want the next big thing, right? We all want that breakthrough. But in a world that is just flooded with hype and promises, the ability to demand proof and to question things that seem too good to be true is more important than ever. Because spotting a true revolution, that requires not just hope, but a really, really healthy dose of skepticism.